Whiskey for the Ages is not sponsored or endorsed for any product or program mentioned in this show and receive no remuneration from their creators.
Hello and welcome back to Whiskey for the Ages. I'm your host Brian Dawson, and as always I've got Hannah and Alora with me.
Hello, I'm Alora.
And Hannah here.
As we've mentioned over the past couple of episodes, we've an open mic tonight. We've got a couple people in from our local whiskey group that we belong to, and we'll be bringing them in here in just a moment. Tonight we're going to be talking about Advent calendars, or more specifically, our summer taste-off.
So for the past few Christmases, the local group have sponsored the Advent calendar events. We've done a couple over the summer as well. We're going to be doing another one this summer. 24-day taste-off, where we get to taste and nose a whole bunch of new whiskeys that are unfamiliar to us and test ourselves along the way. I've been pretty good at them. Let me just throw it out there. I've been pretty decent at these so far.
Yeah, didn't you get like the second
I was
place?
second for a really long time. The last one, I think.
I remember it really tested our endurance as well. It tested mine to where I was like, I'm not having bourbon for like a month. I need a month off, because it was just bourbon every single night, and for me that was a bit much.
Yeah, and I was a bit humbled. I think I was mid-pack at best, but that's the way it goes. So tonight we're going to talk about this whiskey Advent calendar and, like I said, the taste-off. Before we do that, girls, what'd you pour? Alora?
Sazerac Rye. I didn't feel like a bourbon today, and I just wanted something I haven't had in a while, so
I had some Sazerac last night, and it's funny you got a rye, because both Dad and I got the James Pepper single barrel rye. So we've all got a rye tonight.
Yep, and that's from our barrel pick that we did from the group. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Before we rain on anybody else's parade, let's bring our guests in. Tonight I've got Chris Schmear from the group and Ben Polstra.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello. Hey.
So I first met Chris, 2 years ago or thereabouts. I had purchased some Glencairns. You brought them to me at work, and I thought that was pretty special. Here we have a guy that I don't know at all. It took time out of his day to bring something to me, but that was pretty cool. So, Chris, how did you get started in the whiskey journey?
You know, for me, I didn't drink a drop of alcohol until I was 39.
Wow.
And my wife and I, evening on the back patio, I just felt like, I'm married, life is good. She likes to drink hard ciders. I'm going to have a hard cider with her. And so it started there. I have a good friend, James. He's into brewing his own beer, doing all of that stuff. And I remember a guy's trip up into McCall all weekend. He was giving me different beers. Try this, try this. I made this, I made that. No, don't like it. Give me an Angry Orchard cider. And then finally, before we're leaving, he's like, here, try this. Took a sip. And as usual, he was expecting me to hand it back so he could finish it off. I'm like, hang on. Went back for a second sip. That's actually pretty good. He almost cried. It brought tears to his eyes because he made that. It was a barrel-aged stout, aged in a bourbon barrel. And he got, I believe, he entered into the fair and got a blue ribbon for that stout. And so he knew if he could take a non-beer drinker and convert them, he had something good. So from there I thought, well, if I like barrel-aged stouts, I might like bourbon. And then the rest is history.
So what are you drinking tonight?
I'm doing a blind, actually. Ben
Oh,
gave me a sample. And so both of them are Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, but private selections.
nice.
Very cool.
Okay, nice.
And Ben, what about you? What are you drinking?
I have 2XO, the Innkeeper's Blend. It's a fresh crack tonight.
Ooh. We opened up the James Pepper tonight too.
Yeah.
That was a fresh bottle for us.
It's our last bottle.
It's our last one.
Like you, Chris, I kind of wish we had another one back in the wings somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
there's probably one floating around in somebody's basement out there.
Yeah, I guarantee there's a couple who have been hidden.
Ben, I first met you when we were actually going to do one of these advent calendars. Yeah. You had kind of
that's
posed
right.
it to the group. What was it, 2021 or thereabouts, August time frame. And that kind of came about. We met somewhere. What was it, the Roosevelt bar? And we kind of nailed some things down. You're kind of a fan of the blinds. How did you get started with your whiskey journey, and what made you go down the road of the blinds?
So for me, it was a pretty slow progression. You know, I drank a lot of Jack Daniels in college, and then got a little older, wanted to compare it to something, and then compare it to something else, and just slow progression. Wanted something different every night, and then I saw online people doing blinds, and I'm like, that's a great idea. I'd like to know unbiased which I like better. I'd like to know how this $20 bottle stacks up against this $40 bottle, for example. And you know, sometimes those $20 bottles wins, and then you know, like, oh, I can save my money, or hey, I have a real preference for this type of bottle, or this style, or this distillery.
Very cool. Our second or third podcast episode, we reviewed Old Forester 100. Surprisingly, we had all jumped past that one. And I was very, very surprised at how fruity that was.
That was a good one. I remember that one.
And when we did it, shortly thereafter, I had some of the 1920 and the 1910 and what have you. And it always stuck in my mind that, yes, that 100 is lacking something, but it has the basis of everything Old Forester. So much so that down the road, we did a whole expose on Heaven Hill. And Heaven Hill has a funk. You know, every Heaven Hill you have has some similarities to it. Like you say, you try the different things, you see how they compare, you see what you like, you see how you see what changes.
That Old Forester is a good example. The Old Forester 100, I think I did a blind against that and the Bottled and Bond. I don't remember which year that is, but in the Whiskey Row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the $20 bottle beat the $40 or $50 bottle.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
surprising how many are in that lower price tier that actually really stand up and really show their stuff. There's a lot of good ones in that range. Whether it's the Sazerac Rye or the Rittenhouse Rye or even Old Overholt Rye, just in the rye category alone.
Sometimes it's just quality that wins over cost.
I have a theory there's a rule of diminishing returns. At some price point and some quality ratio that is your palate, you get to the point where it just plateaus and the price gets higher, but it doesn't hit you that much better.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We always have Evan Williams Bottled and Bond around. And that $17 bottle. It amazes me that at the end of the night, after you've had anything else that you've poured, you go pour a little of that, and it's always surprises me. This is this good
I just
at 18 bucks.
picked up a handle of it today.
Yeah, it's always good. Chris, you got started in our whiskey group, and we'll talk about our whiskey group a little bit. Care to mention who we are and what we do? And
Yeah, so I was part of a couple different beer groups, and some nights I didn't feel like a beer because I get home late at night after working, and beer is just heavy. Lots of carbs, a lot of ounces, and I just got into bourbon, and I just got into Scotch, Lagavulin 16, and everyone does the typical post of look at what I'm drinking, here's what I'm enjoying, and that's great. It creates conversation, it creates community, and I found myself a couple times I was posting whiskey, and I was like, man, I feel bad posting whiskey in this beer group. And then I mentioned, is there a whiskey group out there so I could post these and not have to cross-post? And everyone said, no, but you should start one.
Oh,
So
okay.
the next day, I told my wife, and I think it was Valentine's Day, and she said, yeah. So the next day after that, February 15th of 2020, we started Boise Whiskey Enthusiasts. And I invited a couple friends I knew that enjoyed whiskey and opened it up, and they invited people and more. And, in the first month we went from me to about 50 people, and it grew and grew. But it grew to the point where it was almost too fast. And then you had all these people in there that weren't part of the community. They were just in it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we had noticed, they were in it so they could figure out where to go to get the next allocated bottle. And so we've slowly been cleaning house and trying to get it down. And a couple of us keep saying, all we need is 100 good people. We don't need the largest whiskey group in Idaho. We just need people who want to sit down and do blind flights and talk and do what you're doing here. That's the community we want to have.
Yeah, all about respect, not only of the spirit but for the people who sell it too. Whether that's the distillery or the people in the liquor stores. Speaking as someone who had worked in a liquor store, whenever a true Boise Whiskey Enthusiast member would come in, it was always very obvious because they'd be very like, hey, don't worry about it, or just trying to take stock of what's going on, but no pressure, just don't worry
about it. A couple of my friends run a liquor store, and the word they hate the most, do you have any blends?
Blends.
Yep.
It's always blends. The one
I'm not allowed to utter that word in front of them.
And
they
sometimes
will throw me out of the store.
And sometimes it's not even, do you have any blends? It's, oh gosh, it has a horse on it. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
we all probably have a bottle of Blanton's, but it's not for us. It's for the person that comes over that wants it. And
Bingo.
Okay, you can have some. Here you
Have
go.
you ever had this?
Yeah.
I took a bottle of Blanton's. I do Christmas lighting, and I went up to a Christmas light convention in Washington, and I took them a bottle of Blanton's, and they're blown away at the generosity, because in Washington, to one, find Blanton's is hard. Two, it's expensive. And I'm like, no, this is $60.
Yeah.
I could get this almost every time they're available. They're not that hard to find for me.
The saddest day I in my whiskey journey was 3-4 years ago when we were still doing the Saturday morning drops. We'd all show up at a store and we'd wait somewhere. I'm second in line or third in line or wherever, in a store in Meridian, and this guy comes up to me and says, "What are you here for?" And I told him that I was here for the Bookers because that's typically what I would be looking for. And he says, "Well, there's Blanton's too. Will you buy me a bottle? I'll give you $100. And I told him, absolutely not. That's not what I do. And easily could have made the money on it. And then he says, how about 120? I'll double your money. And I says, no, that's not what I do. So it bothers me that there's people out there that do that.
Bothers me too. Yeah.
So, because it perpetuates a problem. You know, it really does. And the problem could be, like Hannah said, for the liquor store employee, but it also puts a a bottle on the market that's not worth $120.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many that are out there like that. I mean, we can all name dozens of bottles that are overinflated in price. You know, just because somebody can't get them doesn't mean that they're worth that much. So
I think that's what makes the advent calendar really cool, though, because you get that experience, Ben, like you were saying, tasting something that maybe you wouldn't have given much thought to because of a price sticker. But then you get to try it and go, oh, wait a minute, no, this actually is really good. And oh, wait a minute, it's not $60, it's not $40, maybe it's just 20 or 30 bucks. You know, so it really kind of gives an opportunity to have everybody's eyes opened and have a dialogue about something that maybe everybody's sleeping on.
Yeah.
And likewise, that's also like it showcases the brand too. I remember before the advent calendar, my dad, he's not a Jack Daniels drinker. Well, there were a few Jack Daniels on there, and he was like, I really like this. I really
Wild
like
Turkey
this.
too.
Wild Turkey, yeah.
Every
and-
time Wild Turkey shows up in the calendar, I like it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I buy a bottle, I don't like it.
Tell,
like
tell them about my Weller 107 versus Wild Turkey Rare Breed guess. You remember that?
Yeah, I think when on the rare breed year.
Off the nose and first sip, I put my answer in, said this is Weller 107.
It's about as far
Cynthia
from
mentioned
107
it,
as there is.
laughed and said, you got 0 points. I'm like, what are you? What?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
now my new, every day in my decanter, Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Every day.
Yeah.
That's one that I preach on.
Dude,
Is that rare breed is the
I'm bowing
best.
down to you on that one.
Yeah.
I love that one too. That one is a good one.
And every time I drink it, I don't like it, but every time it's in blind, I take it.
Yeah.
So why is that?
Yeah.
Why are we mentally opposed to things?
Yeah.
Well, let's get into this whiskey advent, and more specifically, the taste off. As I said, Ben, you've been doing this a long time. How did you do your first whiskey advent? I mean, what is a whiskey advent? Maybe we should start there.
Yeah, so the first one was the one that we all did that first year in 2021, that Christmas. I had heard, online of other people, other groups, even YouTube people have done these online.
And people will order
Yeah.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was actually one of the reasons that I got the idea. Is one of the people in our group gets a Scotch one every year online. And I was like, well, there's more than 24 easily available bottles in Idaho. We could get 24 people to participate in this.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we had that conversation, and I think that we didn't know whether we wanted to do it more like a Secret Santa type of situation where we all poured 24 different for a certain person, or if we wanted to do it more like an advent calendar where it was blind and everybody was drinking the same thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it up to the group, and it was pretty overwhelming that everybody wanted that shared experience.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody wanted to be drinking the same thing all 24 days, first 24 days of December. And I thought that was really cool. That first year, what's that?
It was a hit. Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was excitement.
Yeah.
I remember that every day we were pestering each other, hey, finish it so I can find out what it is we're drinking.
Right?
Yeah, and so there was a real community experience there that was awesome. And then when we kicked it off, it was a little bit of a slow uptake, right? Like people were kind of unsure. It's like, well, am I going to just be drinking bottom shelf stuff all December? I want to drink my good stuff. But we finally got it filled up, and I think people were amazed at everybody's generosity too.
Mm-hmm.
Some really nice bottles were in that first one. I think every year, every one of these that we've done, the range has been somewhere 25 to 150 or something like that.
For some that you probably wouldn't be able to find ever again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that
Yeah.
very first one, day 25 or day 24, purely luck of the random draw, was an old Fitzgerald. I don't remember who put the old Fitzgerald in
Like
there.
a 1986
Yeah.
Dusty.
Yep. And by the way, that wasn't 100% luck.
Oh, okay. So we had 23 random models.
But people would put
No,
in.
no, Win is the conductor of the orchestra. He goes and he looks and says, "This is going to be good for this week," and he's rearranging.
That's actually not true.
No,
It is. It's all random. That is the only one that I placed in a certain spot on a certain day.
gotcha. Okay.
Well, that's interesting, because I kind of felt you had done that, but I had no way of knowing. Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's pretty cool. And then the other thing is, that first year, all three of us were in. Laura was still off at university, so I put her name in and had her enter, or whatever it was we did, and I kept thinking, well, mine didn't get picked. Hannah's didn't get picked. Alora's didn't get picked. So I'm going to know which one it is. The closer we got to it, the less and less sure I was.
Yeah.
Well, and we would never tell each other either what we put in. Like, we've already, put in the forms for this summer's advent calendar. I have no idea what's being offered here. They don't know what I'm putting in either.
Yeah. Now this year, Alora didn't get put in, and the reason why I didn't is we didn't know when it was going to end, and she's heading off to university, and didn't want to have her have to deal with doing that. So it's just going to be the two of us here, Hannah and I. But man, we're looking forward to it. This has just always been a fun event, even though I have no idea what I'm drinking.
I've always loved when people would put in local picks, not necessarily from Idaho, but people would be going on their vacations and whatnot, and be, oh, here's something from California, or here's something from Texas. I think one year there was something from Texas, and it was a really, really good offering. But gosh darn it, if I can't remember it now, but.
Well, perhaps I can do that from Montana.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But it's always been really cool to see the entire range, not just like in the price point, but in what people are willing to go, hey, this is one of my favorites, which, for me, I'm always like, you don't get to know my favorites.
Yeah. We did Christmas, and everybody kept saying, I wish I could have got in, I wish I could have got in, I wish I could have got in. And then we decided to do the summer. And you upped the ante. I think, was it in the spring that year you did a Sweet 16 or whatever, kind of a basketball tourney type thing, and you did your own. You did your own testing or what have you. Your own blinds.
I did a 100-ish proof, 32 sample blind. Over the course of the month of March. Was it 32? It was either 16 or 32.
All I know is I kept rooting for the ones you weren't picking.
So that was a lot of fun. I think Four Roses single barrel won that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that even surprised you a little bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think what surprised me the most was how far Wild Turkey.
What, the Masters Keep?
No, because it was all available bourbons.
Okay.
It was the 100 proof single barrel, whatever that is.
Oh, Kentucky Spirit.
Kentucky Spirit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So then you get to summer, and you decided to up the ante on all of us. And while you didn't demand it, you pretty much told us we're doing a competition.
So yeah, I think that during the Christmas one, everybody was like, it'd be really fun to guess what they were, and a winner at the end. And I said, well, we can. There's ways that we can do that, and so I said, well, let's pitch in and let's put together a contest. Do the same thing, except you don't get scratch off labels. You don't get to know what they are, and I'll quiz you. What's the proof? What's the age? What distillery is it? What bottle is it? And I'll give you points based on how close you are. If you guys are familiar with the ADHD whiskey, he did a very similar thing on the internet called Matt Madness, and that's where I got the idea from.
And Bourbon Junkies do the, for a while they were doing the monthly competition amongst themselves.
4 guesses.
4 guesses. Yep.
So I thought, we could do that, and then, if we all put together some money, the winner gets a bottle at the end of it, and it'll be a fun summer contest.
So there were some pitfalls in the summer one. Mostly because summer's tough to pull people together. They've got lives and they've got vacations and things blow apart and what have you. So
and some people got discouraged from their guesses.
Well, I wasn't.
I was
just fine.
I was one of them.
I was like
I did okay.
10 days in, and I don't think I was in double digits yet.
Right?
And then I had a run. I jumped. I don't know. I was at 9, and then all of a sudden I was at 17, and I felt pretty good at myself.
Yeah. When I stopped caring, then I started to do better.
Yeah.
When I stopped trying to A and B compare it to what I thought it was on the shelf, just get that out of your head, and then I did slightly better. Not great.
The most focus I would put on any of it would be if I can pin down the distiller, I'll work from there. And
Yeah, I was happy to just get is it a bourbon rye or is it a rye?
Fair enough. I felt extremely humbled when I chose a wheated and it was a straight rye, and then I realized I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's hard. When you strip the labels off, it is difficult.
The downside here, I think, from my perspective, Ben, you're not getting to participate in the game, though.
That is a downside. But I have fun watching everybody, and I have fun poking fun at people, sending them messages. Did you really just guess this?
I may have had a few of those. and I'd reply, what was my score? And I'd get this little emoji goose egg, no way. How did I get a goose egg?
Well, I guessed there was one that had 7 points. We'll talk about points here in a little bit, but I did everything right except I wrote the name of the distiller in the bottle. Instead of whatever the bottle was, I wrote, 1792 distillery. So, idiot.
I could tell that you knew exactly what it was too, and it was like, I can't give him the point.
Reference back to Matt Madness. One of the YouTubers, Dara, the average drinker, they asked, name the state of distillation, and she put MGP.
Yeah, exactly. And
0 points.
it's because we get so excited. I know this one.
Right? We knew, in her circle of YouTubers, they mocked her on it, and she came back this year and did much better, but it was in that moment, especially when they do Matt Madness, they're under a 30-second gun. You got to figure this out in 30 seconds.
Yeah. He takes forever to do them. Like he'll sit there until the entire sample bottle is gone before he's like, all right,
I got to put something down.
I'm locked in,
Right.
and me, in the first 3 sips, I'm like, let's wing it, let's just go for it. We'll let instinct take over.
Yeah.
And then I get to enjoy the sample for the rest of the pour.
So let's do the math. There's 750 milliliters in a bottle. Okay? So if you divide 30 milliliters, that's 25 samples. Or as I like to say, 24 samples and spillage.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how good we are, there's some spillage.
Or save a little bit and give that to Ben.
Yeah. Usually what ends up happening is I just pour that into something else and have that whatever splash of something, and then we're done. Because, Ben, you could end up with a conglomerate of whatever it was, some infinity mixture that... You could have them all.
Somebody said to do that one year. We do an Advent, and instead of 24 people, it's 23 people, and the 24th sample goes into an infinity bottle, and we all share it at the end.
That'd be cool too. I'd like that. That'd be cool.
The trouble is you're going to get rye mixed with bourbons, mixed with
Potentially
malts.
scotches.
Yeah, well,
it would definitely have to be a single style.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but maybe Ben, you remember, we do an infinity bottle. And it's the first pour of any bottle over 120 proof.
That's a bourbon.
It's a bourbon, and we call it our neck pour. And if it's a wheated or if it's a rye, it doesn't matter, but it is bourbon. Our current infinity bottle is sitting at about 124 proof, and it's remarkably good. Yeah, we've filled the bottle 5 times, I believe. Pour down, sample out 12 ounces or thereabouts, and then refill. And just keep cycling it over and over again. So there's still some residual of those very first ones that we started back in 2020. So fun. So anyway, we've got those 24 bottles. Tell us about the actual little sample bottles. Ben, you're an advocate for, what is it, the bottle dispensary or the...
Glass Bottle Outlet is the one that I typically use. They're cheap and they're reliable and they don't leak. So those are the ones that I typically advocate for.
They have the little polycone in them. Mm-hmm. I noticed, I looked at them up today. They're like $10.99 for 24 of them right now. Yeah. I mean, it's super cheap. I don't know how many they've got left, but I will point out that if you're doing a Christmas Advent, you probably want to be ordering those in November. Because there aren't going to be any, or maybe even October, because as you get close,
I had extra bottles.
Yeah, and then we use the ones over. Just make sure they're washed out clean, and that way there's no residual in there. So just use them over. So this year, what was it? 4 weeks ago, Ben, you threw out a social media sign up on the Facebook page that hey, we're ready for the 2023 summer taste off. So we're doing another competition. So was it just a calendar tick that you had, or you just decided, okay, we're doing this?
About a month ago, I put a poll out there just to gauge interest, make sure people were still interested in doing it as a contest, make sure everybody that there was going to be enough people. And then it looked like there was going to be plenty of interest. So I put the sign-up sheet up about a week ago, and it filled up yesterday.
Okay, pretty fast.
Yep.
I know the first time we did it, it took, almost 3-4 weeks before we got everybody filled in, and it was because it was new.
Yeah,
so,
because it was just an advent calendar, we had a lot of people put in 2 or 3 bottles, too, just to fill it out.
Yeah, and that makes it sad and fun at the same time, all the people that missed out.
Yeah, they know better now.
Yeah. So what about points? So this is going to be a contest of wit and skill.
Yeah, I have to go dust off my score sheets from last year. But it was, basically a point a question, and then proof. I think if you nailed it, it was 2 points, and maybe bottle the same. Or maybe bottle was just 1.2.
I think proof. I think you gave 2 for exact, and one within
5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Within 5, right? And then for age, I think you did the same thing. 2 for exact.
That's
right. 1 for within 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair. As this was getting prepared for this conversation, I kept thinking, how can we get it to where we don't get the laggers, the people that fall behind? Is there some kind of incentive that we can get to where maybe somebody gets 8 bottles behind or 4 whatever number of bottles behind? Because that was the thing last year that was troublesome. We were 3 weeks in and we only had 6 bottles that were identified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think this year, in order to combat that, so we generally, I think I think last year we did it over about 2 months. Because again, summers are busy. People are, out of town. People don't have necessarily a night to spend doing this every night for a month. So what we did was we spread it across 2 months. Just start now, finish in 2 months. And I think what I'm going to do a little bit to combat that this year is starting in that second month. Let's say there's 24 days, so go back 24 days. Day one is going to be due by the end of the first week of the first month, right? And then day two is going to be done. It's going to be due by the second day. So there will be a rolling month where if you don't submit your questions, you'll get 0 points.
Fair enough. Because I like to know what I'm drinking. I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one person reach out to me and say, yeah, I stopped opening up samples and testing them until people get caught up.
Yeah.
So it's hard. People are busy.
Yeah.
People, I get off work at 10 p.m., drive 45 minutes home, and I don't want to be up till 1, 2 in the morning doing this. So I give myself about 30 minutes. I got 30 minutes to go through an ounce and try and figure it out, and then get to bed and go work. Everyone has a different reason for why and what, and that's the hard part.
Yep.
The more people you have involved, the more moving parts you have.
And that's fair. I really think it's fair.
And we've certainly expanded all of the moving parts too, because we haven't just done the whiskey advent calendar. Like, we've done a couple other things now based off of that. Like, we did the world. We've done a couple of variations off of the standard. So there's tons of moving parts. If everybody, we've been involved in every single one of them. So many layers there.
The world one was eye-opening.
That was
Yeah.
a cool one. That was really
You like
cool.
that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we could have had more people, but on the flip side, it was nice having 2 ounces to drink rather than 1.
Yeah.
So, that's the harder part. If everybody put in 2 ounces, then everybody's putting in 2 bottles. So then it can get a little more expensive. So let's talk about the bottles. How does one go about selecting their choice? I mean, you put out a poll, what's your name, what bottle do you want to share, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so the only rule we really have is American whiskey only. And the only reason that we have that rule is because there's people that wouldn't participate if there was Scotch in there or if there was Irish in there, because there's,
Or even American malt.
yeah, just because they don't like it, and everybody has their own palate. If it were me, I'd want it all. But everybody has a different palate, so in order to have that full participation, I put that rule in, American only. When people come to me and say, well, what bottle should I put in? I said, I always like to tell people, pick something that's your favorite and something that other people may not be able to appreciate because of the label.
Yeah, like a sleeper.
Right.
Pick something that you think is overlooked and will beat out a lot of expensive bottles.
Yeah. That first year we put in 2 nice bottles, and then I put in a dry fly bourbon 101.
Which I believe did
Fairly well. Yeah.
Well, the first year we actually didn't rate them.
We didn't.
Yeah.
You're right. But it was just something that is surprising. Something that I like. We always have the bourbon 101 on hand, and it's something I just enjoy. Not everybody does, but that's the way whiskey is. So we have no price limit on this.
No. And again, behind the scenes, I've seen what the bottles are this year, and again, it ranges from 20 to 100 plus.
And then the only real stipulation here is that there's no flavored whiskeys going in.
Yeah, it has to be actual whiskey.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about somebody getting screwball.
I think one of our members every year, when he submits, he puts something like that in there. And I have to
Who
go
is
back
it?
to him. It's Brian.
And Randolph,
Yeah.
yeah, he's out.
I openly confess that is the only bottle that I've ever poured down the drain. I couldn't even drink it with coffee. I mean, there was just nothing redeeming about it. I tried it on ice cream. I tried it.
You tried it on ice cream?
We
Yes.
tried a lot of things with
And I
that
just
to make it work.
couldn't do it.
That was Screwball?
Yeah.
The screwball. And yet it's supposedly one of the #1 flavored whiskeys. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
I'll confess, instead of a White Russian, instead of vodka, I like throwing the Screwball in there, and that's just for, you want that peanut butter and creaminess, and you don't care about the whiskey.
I care
Yeah.
about the whiskey, and I'm not
I
a, and I'm
haven't
not a
bought
peanut butter
Screwball for over
fan.
2 years now. I'm full in. I want the whiskey. I want to drink
Yeah.
it neat, and I want to
Yeah.
taste the flavors. But that was my trash days, as I call it.
Yeah. So our group is pretty locked in. We know what's going on. The very first time that we were getting bottles, we filled our little sample bottles, and now what do I do with them? We decided that, Ben, you're getting them all because you were doing all the hard work. So there were some ideas out there originally. Do we do a meetup? Swap things. It's difficult to get 24 people in a room.
Oh my God! Again,
Right.
moving parts.
Yeah.
I floated it, and I couldn't get more than a handful ever. And I'm just like, okay, what we're going to do is just everybody drop it off at my house.
Yeah.
And that worked for me really well. I mean, you're on the other side of town, but I work halfway between, so that was really easy.
Yep.
Imagine for you it was kind of a headache getting doorbell rings from people you don't know, and then, oh, new box of whiskey.
I was joking that I'm just collecting 24 bottles here, and you guys are never going to see it.
he's filling them back with Buffalo Trace.
Oh, okay. So this one sure tastes a lot like that other one.
Oh, someone submitted Four Roses limited edition. I think I will just drain that into this empty bottle and refill them.
Yeah. Ben, you've pretty much established the guidelines all along. Chris, have you thrown input on this?
I've given my opinion on a couple things, like here's where we could do better next year. Here's some of the, because people will ping me and go, I didn't like this or I like that, and I just throw it back at Ben and go, here's what I heard. Here's what a couple constructive criticisms were, but most part everyone enjoyed it. And as we know, the biggest criticism are the ones that fall behind, and we want to know what we were drinking, and we have to wait a month.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't even remember it at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
it's a 1 ounce sample. How do I remember what I tasted a month ago?
Yeah, and I think really what people need mentally is just have fun.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You didn't pay for this. You got a free sample of something.
Yeah.
You'll know if you take notes, write down, at the very least, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you keep track of it, then fill in the blank later when we know what it is.
Yeah, and with the scoring system, it emails you back what you put in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can remember, oh yeah, I thought that was whatever, and
Yeah.
it was
Sometimes
way off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think people want instant gratification. They want the instant, what is it? Click a button, tell me what it is.
So Ben, you've got a really cool system. The very first one we did was no guesses, but essentially it was a scratch off, and behind the scratch off was a list of the bottle name, the proof, the age if it was there, maybe a distillery information, but just some basic generic details. tell the group, tell everybody in the world, how did you come up with that label?
I have, 2-inch thermal printed labels, and I'm like, what can I fit on here that's relevant, basically?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of thinking about what was on the label. I did on the summer taste off. I added a QR code for the link to the quiz. I mean, that was the only thing that was had a little bit of thought in it, right? It's how do I link to that quiz when it's a physical bottle? It's like, oh, everybody has a phone; they can use a QR code.
Yeah, and I like that. That was really easy. Just pull the bottle, QR code, quiz, fill it out, send it in. Very simple. So then we had a beginning date and an end date. The end date was somewhat in flux, but the beginning date, do you have an idea when we're going to start this one?
One of the trickiest parts, like you mentioned, is getting all the bottles in. So I have to get 24 of these bottles in, or sets of bottles in, switch them all up so that everybody has one of each, and then redistribute them. So for the summer ones, it's basically whenever you pick them up, right? You can start if you want to start then, or you can wait till August, or, Generally, it takes about 2 weeks to get the bottles in at a minimum. So we're probably not looking like we're going to start until beginning of July, middle of July.
Yeah, well, beginning of July, it's hard to believe it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
I mean, that's tough to
Oh, really?
believe that summer's coming to a... Summer's ending. I don't like that. I'm ready to start again. We didn't have summer yet.
Yeah, we haven't had 105 degrees yet. So.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like not having a sauna, but
Yeah.
We're doing this taste off. We've talked about the points. And we talked about some challenges. Anything we're missing? Anything you guys would like to think about or talk about that we haven't discussed?
Just have fun. I mean, the general concept is have fun, build community. Don't overthink it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be jealous of someone else's points, or I wish I had done this, or I wish I had donated that, and just gratitude. Just every day you're living, you're breathing, you have enough health to enjoy this beverage, and you have enough community to share it.
So true.
bourbon's an experience and should be shared. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what this is all about, is sharing.
Well, I do like that.
Yeah, and it brings the community together too, which is that's the whole reason we're doing it.
Yeah. I know that we've mentioned that there are some YouTubers that'll do this. Probably there's other people beyond YouTube that do it. Have you seen any, I'm not on Facebook, have you seen any sign that maybe other whiskey groups like in other states are picking this up as well? Or, maybe not necessarily because, little Podunk, Idaho is doing anything. But, at the same time, it'd be kind of cool to know that other communities around the country, around the world maybe even.
Is there
Are
whiskey
joining
life
it.
out there?
There's a lot of local whiskey groups in different regions doing something very similar.
Yeah, and there's lots of variations on it. Like I've seen a lot. I think the more common method of doing it is you pay me $50 or whatever the number is. I go out and buy 24 bottles, and I put it all together.
Oh.
Instead of having that. What I think is cool is having the community aspect where everybody's bringing a bottle to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I know,
agree.
like, with Matt Madness ADHD Whiskey, he's originally from Michigan, which is near your neck of the woods. But they were able to amass a large collection, say 20 Weller 107s and 20 bottles of, and then if they have 200 people who want to contribute and do this, then they had enough bottles to fill 24 days worth of Advent calendar.
For multiple
So
people.
that's a big community comes together and making, instead of one bottle of everything, they had multiple bottles in reserve, ready to go, ready for the community.
That's
Well-
really cool too.
While that would be very fun, I don't necessarily want Ben to have that headache.
No, you need a community to put that together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't lay that's just too much weight for any one person
Exactly.
to carry.
I sometimes think it's too much weight for Ben to be carrying, but like I can tell you're having fun laughing at us.
I totally have fun doing it, and it's even just drop-offs and pickups. It's fun to chat with all of the members for 5 minutes and see how they're doing, what they're drinking lately.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I think, the big takeaway, especially for our listeners, is even if you're not in the Boise Whiskey Enthusiast group, maybe you should look into your social media outlets and see if there's other like-minded individuals in your community and, maybe be like Chris and start your own.
Right? And even if you have 6 good friends, just
Yeah.
do something like that amongst your own friends, whatever it is, whatever your circle is.
Yeah.
Challenge each other to try something that you wouldn't normally try by stripping the labels off and testing. Do you like that because of the label, or do you like it because it's really a mash bill that fits your palate?
And as time goes by, all palates change.
Yeah.
I can tell you that my palate from 5 years ago is completely different than my palate today. I still have my favorites. I still have my mental favorites that maybe are not really favorites, but I like to say I like them.
Well, taste buds are always changing. It's speculated that every 7 years you have a different set of taste buds. So
Biology people.
yeah.
You know,
the older you
Chris.
get, the less taste buds actively functioning and brain cells to interpret those taste buds. It becomes less and less. It just happens.
Well, and I think your experience also changes it too. So, you go through a phase where maybe you're really into barbecue, and suddenly all the bourbons you like tend to lead in that smoky direction.
Right.
Or maybe you're in a fruity mood, so all the bourbons you like are in that fruity direction.
Yeah.
We talked about, we did the Heaven Hill expose. Heaven Hill has a funk. Jim Beam has a funk. Old Forester has a funk. And each one is very different. So if we know that, okay, I like peanuts, well, it's quite likely a Jim Beam product is going to be very peanut forward. Not always, but that's typical of their products. Fruit forward, Buffalo Trace products to me are very fruit forward. It's just the nature of what they are. So that's our feature topic here. Guys, I really want to thank you. I'm going to talk about 3 whiskeys that are going to be out there or maybe impossible to find, because that's typically what happens. But this past fortnight in whiskey, there were quite a few news stories that came out. The first one I'm going to mention is a Jim Beam product. They just dropped a 17-year-old bourbon meant to highlight the Kentucky terroir of the area. It's part of their Hardin's Creek series. It's going to be their Hardin's Creek Claremont. It's said to be a rich and oaky sipper. Now that would make sense if it's 17 years old. You could pretty much say that it's going to be full of oak. It's also got a little bit of heat to it. That's bottled at 110 proof. There are notes of ripe blackberry, pecan, and vanilla, and custard on the palate. And then lastly, it's supposed to have a spicy finish that adds a little bit of brown sugar in it. Listed at $170.
That's a price point.
That's going to be a tough one. There aren't making very many bottles available to it. However, it's the Hardin's Creek Claremont. And then Woodford Reserve just dropped its strongest bourbon yet, and that's their Woodford Reserve series, their 2023 batch proof, bottled at 124.7. Have you guys ever had any of those Woodford Reserve bottlings, those special bottlings?
The batch proof or the
yeah.
I think I've had a sample of it. I've never had a bottle of it.
Yeah.
No, never had a bottle of it.
So this one's kind of interesting. We did a series a while back, Women in the Whiskey World. The person responsible for this, Elizabeth McCall. She is now the master distiller at Woodford Reserve. She took over from the longtime guy that was there, and this is her baby. I guess she's been working on this one from inception all the way through. It's supposed to have a nose of toasted almond, cherry and banana, a little baking spice and pine on the palate, and some tannic sweet finish of leather and vanilla, and a little bit of cedar on the finish.
That sounds really good.
And this one's a little more price friendly. Their Woodford Reserve batch proof 2023, MSRP at about $130.
That's still a price point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one is Parker's Heritage 2023 release. This one is kind of confounding people. It's a 10-year-old rye. They have done a lot of experimenting with their Parker's Heritage series. When Hannah did the Heaven's Hill expose, we learned a little bit about Parker's Heritage. Are you familiar with how it got started and why they've done it?
Yeah.
That
very cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah. It's
a portion of the proceeds a portion of every bottle goes to ALS research and treatment.
Because Parker Beam had ALS and actually died, succumbed to it. At any rate, people are wondering, why are they only doing a 10-year-old rye? There's not a lot of information about it. They don't know if it's extra toasted or extra charred or whatever. They've released no profile, no pricing range, what have you. But typical Parker's release have been in that 150 range. I personally kind of think I would buy that only for the money going to the ALS Foundation. I think that's pretty cool that distilleries are giving back. You guys can find this, or anybody out there in the listener world can find links to these stories on our website. We have a page that takes you to news links and so much more. We do the complete MLA citation, so we're not just pulling these out of the world and saying, hey, this is my story. We're giving credit where credit's due. And that's all. That's the news for the week.
Maybe we'll see one of those in an advent calendar one day. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Might be a little ways off, but
Yeah.
we can dream.
Yeah.
Well, girls, this has been a fun episode. And
Yeah.
I got to thank Ben and Chris for sticking with us and telling us their stories and talking about whiskey advents and, more importantly, the taste-off that we're having this summer.
And the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Community. So we've only got a couple more shows left in this series. We are doing 10-episode series. Next episode in a couple weeks, we're going to talk about some history, some whiskey history. Still haven't picked out a topic, but did you guys know that the Pilgrims had a still on the Mayflower?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they brought over a still. So
Wow.
I don't know if I can find enough information about that story. We learned a couple weeks ago, Old Overholt is the oldest continuing brand of whiskey in America. Started in 1810, and it's just changed hands numerous times. And believe it or not, Old Overholt's going to have a 10-year rye coming out here within the next year. So that'll be kind of interesting to see what they're doing with that old brand. But anyway, there's lots of history to come. And then I did put a poll up on our BWE site, and I also posted the poll on my site, and I also posted it on LinkedIn. And the overwhelming favorite for us to review was Colonel Taylor Batch 10 Barrel Proof. So we're going to be doing that in our last episode. So that'll be kind of fun. That's what we have going on.
And then we'll take a little bit of a break and then come back to you with season 2. New ideas, new topics. We'll have some fun with that as well.
Yep. So we're now available. Our podcasts are available on Podbean. That is our original platform. But we're also on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player Radio, Samsung Podcasts, Podchaser, Boomplay, and more to come. Guys, as we end the show, I don't know how you'll do it, but how we always end our show by ringing a Glencairn, saying cheers to everybody. So if you want to hold up your glasses and we'll simulate getting a cheer.
Oh, Chris has got to go. He's got 2 glasses. Oh, we've got it.
All right.
Perfect.
So good night, everybody. We'd like to thank you, Chris, Ben. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And cheers, everybody.
Cheers.